Welcome, welcome! It's Mud Dog with the Texas Space Navy bringing you another Star Citizen video. And today I've got something special for you. It's going to be a Legatus Roundtable, or in this case, a Legatus Talk. I've got one of the Legatus with me, Torian, and he's going to talk a little bit about himself, a little bit about Legatus, what he thinks about the game, his different ideas and philosophies of the game. You guys let me know in the comments down below if you want to see more videos like this, because I'm planning on trying to do a Legatus Roundtable about once every couple of weeks, and you guys can get a different perspective from the different Legatus that are currently in the game. If you don't know what the Legatus are, Legatus Navium is the top patron part of the game. These guys are the people who have given the most money to Star Citizen to fund the project. So it'll be really cool to see what they have to say, and I'm sure you guys are eager to hear that as well. Make sure you hit the like button and the subscribe button if you haven't subscribed before. And I'm going to get into this interview, this roundtable with Torian, and I'll get back to you at the end of the video.
Because the most people already know that I throw a lot of money at the screen. They just don't know how much. But
right?
I always say, if you have the money...
Oh, I think I lost you.
that can happen. My internet connection does sometimes for a second weird stuff.
Oh, yeah, I know how that goes. On occasion, mine will do some pretty shoddy stuff. So I'm here with Torian. This is Mud Dog with the Texas Space Navy, and this is going to be the first episode of Legatus Roundtable. We'll probably rethink the name down the road. So, Torian, if you want to tell everybody where you're from, how you got involved with Star Citizen originally, I'm sure people will be interested in knowing some of that information.
Yeah, let's start with the location. I'm from Switzerland. I'm right now 29. And yeah, back in 2015, somewhere in the start, in the first 3 months, I watched a trailer about Star Citizen, or more to say, Squadron 42. It was the one with the
vertical slice?
Nah, that doesn't exist. Damn, I forgot the ship's name. Bengal carrier.
Ah, yeah.
The trailer with the Bengal carrier where the Vandals attacked. I think it was the same video on the Kickstarter page. That was the video I saw, and it was like, looks kind of interesting. Let's see what else it is, or what it's supposed to be. And I read a bit and find out that was exactly, like 100% what I always dreamed of.
Nice.
And yeah, that's why I started it with all that.
Awesome. For me, I kind of saw it in Kickstarter. I didn't really make the money at the time to join at the Kickstarter. It didn't feel like I had the money at the time to just throw at it for the Kickstarter. And so it took me a few years after the Kickstarter, when they started actually having a few things in the game. It was right before they started doing Arena Commander that I joined. And, you know, then I put in a little bit more money and a little bit more. And, well, next thing you know, I was Legatus. Which I guess kind of brings us to the next question. How long did it take you to get to Legatus status? I know for me, for me, it took several years. I think I didn't hit Legatus until 2019. I guess it was 2018 because I went to CitizenCon in Austin that year. And I was already Legatus then. But how about for you?
Yeah, well, the one thing I remember is, like I said before, I started in 2015. The first Arena Commander version was there, I think. Not sure about.
Yeah, I think it was there.
It was there. Yeah, and then I started with an Aurora, like most other people did.
Right. And that was the only ship
It was like, that ship is so crap. You can do nothing in Arena Commander. I knew it was not supposed to be just always like that, but I think, come on, let's go for the Mustang. It looks a little bit nicer, faster, and at that time it was stronger. I took out Hornets with it.
Nice. Yeah, it used to be.
How, but I did.
It used to be more maneuverable than it is now, of course, too. Back then, they had a little bit different flight model, and
yes,
I can remember just mastering flying without having being decoupled, and just being able to fly circles around just about anything. I felt like the flight model back then was, I don't know if intuitive is a better word for it, but it was one of those things that you could get good at quickly, but it took a while to master. And once you mastered it, you were on top of the world. It just felt great to put that kind of time and energy in it, because you were going to get rewarded at the end of, putting all that time into it. In particular, with racing.
That's it. That's really it. It's just needs practice.
Yeah. Well, now I think the curve's a little bit steeper for, especially with like racing, but even in dogfighting, you really do have to put in a lot of time still to master it, but you also have to, I think the knowledge to mastering dogfighting now is harder to come by, whereas back then you could learn it on your own. Now you kind of almost have to get tips and tricks from other people on how to master the art of dogfighting to be, a killer in an arrow. You know what I mean? Because there's a lot of people out there that have mastered flying in an arrow that can take on the big heavy ships and just make them look silly.
Oh yeah, I know that. I am actually doing with, just for fun, I started with an Aurora again on a second account. I just punched through everything. I am right now on very high-risk target missions.
Nice.
It's just silly. Okay. They are just NPCs. They are dumb, but still, shooting down Vanguards and Valkyries with an Aurora size 1 weapon.
I know. I did 890 jump mission the other day with an Aurora with size 1's gimbaled yellow jackets, and I just tore through the cutlasses. I think I killed them quicker than I ever did in like a Super Hornet or something like that. The Aurora is still a pretty formidable ship against AI, opponents. Of course, against human opponents, you better be a good flyer.
Oh yeah. I wouldn't stand any change with Aurora against even someone that doesn't fly as good as I may do, if he just have the bigger guns. I have no change against.
So that's a good question. What kind of setup do you use right now? Are you using dual joysticks, a throttle and joystick, mouse and keyboard? What's your preferred setup?
Well, actually, it's a mix between Terrikai Air, NX65, X56.
Okay, the Rhino.
Is that right? Yeah, the Rhino, and mouse and keyboard. I use all at the same time.
Nice.
And depending on what I'm doing right now, it just works. I have no idea how.
Well, so a lot of people that are starting out ask about things like voice attack and game glass to help them, play the game. And I tell them it's fantastic to help you early on learning how to play the game, but eventually you're going to learn all the keystrokes and you won't have a need for game glass or voice attack. You'll just be able to do it. So I think it's kind of the same thing, similar. You've made it work for you because you've been using it for a while now, and it's just become second nature to switch from one to the next to the other, all while you're, flying the ship.
Yep. Although I can say a lot of people in the past ask me about, hey, you are experienced. And I think, depends on what.
Right?
And they say, yeah, I heard about Game Glass and this and that, and it's super awesome. Do you use that as well? And I'm just like, no, why should I? It has nothing that I need to do my stuff. In fact, it just looks nice, but nothing more. It's cool to have if you have nothing else but mouse and keyboard. It's perfect because the controls on the keyboard are just for a beginner. It's like, damn, what's the key again?
Yeah, it's overwhelming. There's so many keys that can do so many different things. So yeah, I think for beginners, Game Glass, Voice Attack are awesome tools. But I do think that eventually, if you play the game very much, you're going to move away from those tools and just use what they already have available for you.
Yeah, and like I feel once you have your own HOTAS or double stick or just one stick, doesn't matter. Even a game
You cut
controls how you.
Sorry, go ahead.
Again, please.
You cut out for just a second. Sorry.
Yeah, stupid internet. But if you have your controls and your hardware and you bind your own key bindings, you don't need anyone to tell you which key does what. You know it already. But
right.
The important part is as an example to bind a HOTAS, you need to know what do I want to do with it. I can just fly with it. Easy. Do I want mining with it? Do I want do combat with it? Do I want drive vehicles with it? And then you have to think about which controls of all that millions of controls available I need really. Make your setup and you're done. After you did it once and a new patch comes that trashes all of it, you just need 10 minutes and you're done again.
I was about to ask, how often do you rebind your controls?
Usually never. Only if I have to, because something new is in the game, like it was with the countermeasures. When they changed from click to switch and click another button to launch, from click that for that one and click the other for the others. That was the last time I rebinded something on my HOTAS.
So some people actually use macros for that sort of thing. Do you use any macros in the game? I don't personally, but because I just bind it to a button on the joystick.
I tried once, but I never made it work. I have no idea why it doesn't want to work, but it doesn't want to. So I just said, fuck it. I take my HOTAS and do it again.
You see, early on, I bought a keyboard with a bunch of macro keys and everything else, and I was planning on using that in Star Citizen, and had all these ideas on, ship startup sequence with one button, etc. Well, they pretty much put that in the game already. So my idea for macros just kind of went out the window. And again, the more you play the game, the easier it is to remember all the button presses, and so I have no need for them anymore. Who knows? Maybe somewhere down the road I'll need them again. Are you married? You have a spouse?
Nope, and I don't want to.
Okay, because one of the people were asking, does your spouse know how much you've spent on the game?
Well,
so
I have to say, it's not that easy to just say no and I don't want to. I can understand, and I know a lot of people who are married. But the thing is, having a wife, having kids, that's nothing for me. I just want to have peace, be it quiet, and do my thing. And nothing have to be that someone comes in my room and says, hey, can you help me with this? Can you? And just like, no, I'm playing the game. Go away.
I'm married, so I'm going to say no comment.
Yeah.
It's the safest way.
It's just how I am. When I'm playing, I won't play as long as I have time to play and not have any interruptions of it. That's all.
I would love that. That would be awesome.
Yeah,
I'm not that fortunate.
Everything has its good things and its bad things. I mean, in a time like this now, with the coronavirus and all that stuff, when I am alone, I can go nowhere. I have no one to talk to except for the people in the internet. Most of the time, it's okay, but sometimes you just need to see another person.
Yeah.
In real life, and that's why having a family can be better, depending on how good people understand each other.
Yeah, and it can be enjoyable to do things together and experience life together for sure. So we've seen a lot of people here recently, or even throughout the history of Star Citizen, call it a scam. How would you tell them, off, or tell them it's not, or how do you react to those type of people?
Well, in the past, I was like, it's possible. Back in 2015, 16, it was possible, and I could understand why they took so. But now, with all the work in the game and all the stuff they did, it doesn't need much to research to just find out how stupid
That argument is, yeah.
yes. But okay, I mean, a lot of people look at something, have their mind already built up, and even if they look in, they can't change their mind, even if the game they look at just proves them wrong.
Yeah,
It's just like
there's too much into it.
8 years or 10 years, or some people already tell me 12 years in development. I'm like, no. Where did you get that information from? Well, yeah, I hear that and that YouTuber. So, and where did that YouTuber get the info?
Everybody should always, research every answer. They don't just take somebody else's word for it. Unfortunately, in today's society, a lot of people do. But do your own research to find out the real answers. I mean, I don't see how anybody could say this is a scam at this point. Especially with the updated roadmap that's out that gives you such transparency into the development process. And look at Cyberpunk. That game took as long or longer than we've had for Star Citizen, and they rushed it out, and it wasn't ready. And it fell flat the first month that it was out because it wasn't ready. I'm all for the game taking as long as it needs to come out. Now, if it comes out 20 years from now and the graphics are way behind where it should be, now that's a problem. But I don't think it's going to be. As a matter of fact, I think they still have a lot of upgrades to do to the graphics engine with Vulkan and whatnot. I just don't see how anybody could say that this game is a scam anymore. It's just there's no leg to stand on.
I can still understand why people think so. Because a game that EA brings out, or Ubisoft, you don't hear anything about it until 3 years before it releases. But the only thing you hear about this is on the E3 or that games.
Some sort of game dev or dev. The one in Germany, yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Gamescom, yeah.
Yeah, that is another one. There you can maybe playtest it, maybe. But after that, you hear nothing about it. 2 years, nothing. And a half year, or maybe a year before it really releases, the first trailer comes. Then comes the second trailer. Then comes some gameplay. And then they can start generating some hype about the game. And then it releases. But no one knows at that time really what they did. In Star Citizen, it's different. Before they even started to develop anything, everybody knows. And that's why it feels like it took forever, even if it took the same time like Cyberpunk did right now.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the only other game I could think of recently that's kind of undergone some of that type of development is the game Squad, but it's not near to the level that this game is. This game has way bigger goal in mind and a way bigger team working on it now. I mean, Squad is one of those games that you could play while it was coming out as well, but again, this one just has so much more scope. it's way beyond that. Here's a great question that I had from a guy that's on my Discord. He asked, how do you plan on making enough credits in game to supply and maintain your fleet? I've been wondering that for myself for a while. I've got all sorts of ideas, but the question is, how possible will it be? Do you have any idea on how you're going to manage that?
Sorry, you have to repeat the question. My internet was away again.
Yeah, so how do you plan on supplying and maintaining your fleet? Because we all the Legatus have a massive fleet of ships. We have a lot of ships. So how are we going to pay for, hangar fees, fuel costs, repairs, arm, buying components for them, buying, NPC crews, etc. So do you have any ideas or plans on how you can fund, your fleet, how you can maintain and supply that fleet?
Well, that's a not so easy question to answer. But
I know.
I have some ideas how to do it. I mean, back in the days, Roberts told that you have a home hangar, where your own hangar is, where you don't have to pay any fees. So, every ship that is there costs you nothing. Except for maybe maintenance. But that's okay.
That should be minuscule. Yeah, it shouldn't be a very small amount to maintain a ship in a hangar.
Yeah, I mean, even the insurance. All ships that cost $1,000 or more automatically have LTI. All ships below, and that's also something Roberts told, we just have to trust him there. The fee for the insurance is significantly small. So someone who has a Hull E or an Orion or maybe even a Caterpillar won't even feel that there is a fee.
Hopefully.
Hopefully, yes.
I mean, according to what they said, yeah, you shouldn't even notice it. It should be so small. That brings me to another question. So, as a Legatus, do you have mostly like a concierge pack or packs, or have you bought a lot of individual ships to get you that status? Do they have LTI? Do they not? Do you care if it has LTI or not? What's your personal preference?
I switched it in the past a little bit around between one stuff and the other stuff, and packs and no packs, and upgraded packs. But right now, I just have the Legatus pack itself, the original one in 2018, and have the add-ons. That I can guide. It's a bit strange to say I can save money with that, but in fact, it's true, because I was 2015 where I started with Star Citizen, and I didn't pledge for the biggest pack then. I started with an Aurora. So there was 1, 2, maybe 3 years where I was in the game where I maybe scratched on the concierge rank. But all the good concept ships where you have now to pay significantly more than back then, like the Carrack or the Reclaimer, even the Idris.
Yeah.
I mean, who was there in the concept, in the first concept sale? That guy saves the most money.
Oh, without a doubt.
But with for me, it was like, yeah, the train is already gone. So what do? there are some stuff in the past that I can't take my hands on because I didn't have the original pledges for that. So I just said, let's look, how much did I spend? How much is it worth? How much did the pack cost? Come. Fuck it, I take it. That's what is. I mean, for me personally, it's not the reason to just have everything because I need it. It's just I take as much as I can for my money, but I don't want to have a ship 3 times the same ship. That's not my interest. I want everything once. That's enough for me.
Right.
Just as a form of a collector. But I think always about I could play the game and earn every ship. It's possible. But I want to support the development of this game because that is the game I always dreamed of. A lot of games in the past had some points that were awesome, but none of those games had all of them at once. Star Citizen is heading to that direction.
And see, for me, I got in, I guess, early enough to get some of the early bigger packages once I got to concierge level anyways. And I was saving money by keeping the new concept ships as they came out over going with one of the bigger Legatus packs that they started in 2018. I've been saving several $1,000s doing that by pledging for the new concept ships rather than just upgrading to a Legatus pack. And I think they said that the newest Legatus pack is definitely not a savings over, if you had a lot of the ships during concept. Somebody always does these spreadsheets and stuff that shows that. Yeah. And
let's see. For the newest Legatus pack, what was it? $36,500. The price of the pack itself.
Yeah.
The value of the ships all inside. Only the ships, not what you get additionally as decoration items. Also, only the ships have a value with the selling price right now of 37,000 and something.
Right.
But if you had buy them all, those ships as standalone in the first concept sale without even using Warbond sales, you pay on top with the pack.
So it'd be
most
more
other packs you pay on top.
Yeah. Well, it should be some savings. But with Warbond and stuff, it's usually cheaper. So
yeah, Warbond is the way you want to go if you don't have a lot of store credits left.
Yes.
Or what else is possible? Warbond upgrades, it's even better.
Yeah, the upgrade chains that a lot of people are doing now are pretty intense and pretty awesome. Do you do any of those upgrade chains? Like, do you take, maybe an Aurora and try to upgrade it for the cheapest amount up to another ship? I know you say you don't really care for doubles of ships, but some people will take a ship that they don't think they're ever going to fly as a Legatus and upgrade it into something else. That they may actually want two of, a backup of.
Well, if I wouldn't be a collector, that's what I would do with all the ships I have. And I already know a lot of them I won't fly often. Maybe once in a year I take an Aurora out to just joke around with it. No idea. Something like that. I don't need that ship. And also I don't need 5 of them. But as a collector, I'm in to say I need them, not in the fact that I need, but I want to have them.
Did you ever pick up the Saber Raven or the AMD, the Omega, the Mustang Omega?
I did.
Okay. Did you have to get
Just
them on the
because I
gray
wanted.
market, or I guess for the Saber, you probably came in early enough that you could buy the Intel Optane drive.
Correct, and that's what I did.
See, I
Of
picked that
course,
one up too.
I got the Intel Optane. The drive, I don't even needed it, and also it was very expensive for that what we got out of it. But I thought like, okay, what's the Saber Raven Dwarf? It's like a game package listed for $200 back then.
Right.
It was not possible to buy it or to melt it, but it was in the upgrades short timely visible. And it was $200, the ship. So, the drive minus the $200, pretty average. It's okay.
Well, and I imagine it's worth a lot more on the gray market now than $200 too, because people just can't get them anymore.
That's correct. And I'm very happy that I got the Omega 2, of course, of the gray market, because
that was the only way to do it at
A&D
the
graphic
time.
card, I didn't have one. It was before my time, but that was a ship like, yeah, I could just get the Mustang Gamma, but the red and black is just cooler. So
I
give me that
agree.
shit.
See, I was able to get a couple of different. Well, actually, I got several codes for Omegas, and ended up giving one to my brother and keeping one for myself, and I was stupidly. Those were my early on upgraded ships, and I should have kept each one because with each game pack you get, you'll have another character slot or NPC that you can customize according to what they've said through the years. And so I stupidly melted all, those previous Mustang Omega packs because I had upgraded them to something else. And now I can't reclaim them. So,
oh, yeah.
I got rid of a bunch of packs that could have given me more NPC or extra player slots.
Yeah, but I think just for my point of view, if you melt a Mustang Omega, it should be possible to take it back for nothing, but you should not be able to gift it anymore. In that way, it would be fair.
I agree with that. Yeah.
I mean, for CIG, it's just a click, check mark out. Now you can get it back. Simple as that.
Maybe they'll implement that at some point or another. That would be nice.
Would be nice, but I don't think so.
They're kind of moving away from that trend of appeasing some of the masses that have those ideas like that, and kind of including Legatus in a way. I mean, what do you think? How do you think customer services interaction or CIG's interaction with Legatus is now? Do you like it? Do you think that it has some issues? Do you wish there was more interaction? Do what do you think about the interaction altogether?
Well, mostly I don't have much contact with the support, as an example, because I just contact them if I really have an issue or a question I can't ask in Spectrum, because there are a lot of other people who cluttering the trade with stupid ideas and comments. So I have them ask via email, and mostly I'm okay with what I get as answer. But with that much money spent, I often think like, yeah, I can understand that's the rules, but you could just say, forget it. That's something worth $10. He has spent 30,000.
Yes.
Give it to him. What will he do with it? He can't give it anyway.
Right. Yeah, I agree. People say pay to win, pay to win. I don't think that the game's not pay to win, because there is no linear progression through the game. There's no progression. It's everybody's on their own adventure. They're doing their own story. But also, I do think that there should be some perks when you've contributed so much to the development of the game. And, you know, I know they give concierge perks and stuff like that, and then of course, you know, the perks for when you reach certain levels, like ships or weapons or armor. But yeah, I think those perks need to be there. I really do, because I don't know. You should just reward the people that have put so much of themselves into the game. Does that make sense? In my opinion,
it kind of a way makes sense.
As long as it doesn't break the game, you know.
Yeah, the point is the rewards are a point. Originally, they wasn't even there.
No.
Back in the days where you could spend 15,000 and you had all ships.
Well, and you would also get the million. You'd get the Million Mile High Club as well back then, which is not available now except for referrals.
Streamers and YouTubers with enough viewers to even be possible to get that. So you need 1,042.
Yes.
So it's like over $40,000 worth of accounts that need to be made just to get the Million Mile High Club.
Yeah, I'm only at 139 referrals at the moment. I know there's some guys. I know there's some guys in the Legatus group that do some marketing and stuff online to buy ads and stuff that help out, and I'm very curious about doing that if I can be successful doing it. But you know, I don't know how much money they have of their own money they have to put in to make it happen either. So that's something we need to talk about even more in the Legatus Discord.
Yep. that's a thing I also talked about do it, but I looked at it and it was like, what? How does that work?
Right.
Where do I have to click on that Google thing?
Who are clicking these ads and joining for the first time?
Yeah, this was like, so what? I mean, maybe I'm just dumb and don't understand it, but it's for me it was like, so I have no idea what I'm doing here, and it says click here to do that, but it does something else, and it was like, okay.
It's very confusing.
I think I should play with this thing.
Yes, it's very confusing. I tried doing it way early on before I was monetized on YouTube, and I didn't have a clue what I was doing. I tried following tutorials and stuff, and it still didn't make any sense to me. So maybe if anybody's watching this video, they can explain it in the comments. I don't know. But how about we call this video to a close, and hopefully you'll be able to join us again in a couple weeks, and you know, we can have a few more questions to answer for everybody. And you know, I really do appreciate you jumping on and doing this with me. I think it's really cool, and I like the dialogue, and you know, I like hearing how everybody else that's a Legatus got into the game and how they made it to where they're at right now. Hey guys, thank you once again for tuning in to watch this video and listen to the Legatus Roundtable. I hope you guys really enjoyed that. I've got some really interesting and fun things planned for this series, and hopefully CIG, some of you guys will be watching as well, because the Legatus have some very interesting ideas on the game, the development, the community, and community outreach, and how you guys can help the community you know, grow and develop and help the camaraderie there much more. So definitely check that out. Every couple of weeks I'm hoping to do these, so don't forget to tune in. If you guys are interested in joining my Patreon or YouTube members program, I'm going to have that information listed down below in the description of the video. If you're looking to pledge to this game, I also will have my referral code down there so that you can get a bonus 5,000 credits. So thank you again for tuning in. I'm Mud Dog with the Texas Space Navy, and I'll see you out in the verse.